Our story begins with a world where, in order to promote sincere social interaction and positive energy, a street observation livestream program was created. The production team invites various types of female guests to interact naturally with passersby, recording the authentic reactions of ordinary people when approached by strangers. If you harbor ill intentions and easily walk away with someone, the program's cameras will expose you. But if you maintain your principles and treat others sincerely, the team will reward you with a positive energy bonus. Today, this show, titled Street Observation, officially begins its broadcast. At this very moment, we see a young man sitting at a roadside food stall, enjoying some skewers, when suddenly a girl stands right in front of him. "Handsome, can I sit down and chat with you for a bit?" Bai Shueching asks, putting on a pitiful, delicate act while staring at him. Hearing this, he can't help but look her over. This is Bai Shueching, a 20-year-old sophomore. For a young girl to approach a strange man in the middle of the night, there are usually only two possibilities. Either it's a prank, or she has a hidden motive. But regardless, as a principled young man, his choice should be simple, a clean and decisive rejection. However, just as he is about to speak, a cold, mechanical notification sound suddenly echoes inside his mind. As this string of prompts hits him, he is initially stunned for a moment. But then his eyes light up. After all, as a veteran reader of web novels for 10 years, he is no stranger to the concept of a system. Yet, in those few seconds of days, the audience assumes he has been completely captivated by Shueching's beauty. The livestream chat explodes instantly. Look at that reaction. He's definitely fallen for her, hasn't he? It's only just started, and he already can't hold his ground. Should the crew change the target? Brother, stay strong. Don't go with her. Despite the doubt, some continue to cheer him on in the comments. While everyone is arguing, we see him glance at Bai Shueching and then coldly drop a single sentence. "Sorry, there are no extra seats here." He actually rejected her. This guy is actually pretty good. No way, is she serious? He turned her down so decisively. I thought he would hesitate for a second. This reaction is quite unexpected. That kind of willpower is something else. Meanwhile, Bai Shueching's mind is in total turmoil. She never imagined that, as a campus beauty, there would come a day when a man would reject her on the spot. Refusing to give up, she softens her voice. "Handsome, you. Isn't that a bit cold? I just wanted to sit and chat for a while. I'll even treat you to a late-night snack, okay?" He simply gives her a flat look, continuing to finish his skewers without saying a word. Bai Shueching stands there frozen, as if someone hit the pause button. She finally snaps back, asking how he can be like this. But he quickly counters, "Look at you, you're so young. Coming out in the middle of the night to talk to strange men. Do your parents even know about this? It's not safe late at night. You should go home early." As he finishes, the system's mechanical voice immediately echoes in his mind. It detects the host's kind reminder to maintain positive social energy, awarding him an A-rank evaluation. It encourages him to keep up the good work. Bai Shueching, feeling a bit overwhelmed by this lecture, can't help but snap back. "What business is it of yours? Do you even know who I am?" He just gives a cold laugh. "I don't care who you are. Just go home and stop wandering around here." That rejection was incredibly direct. To be honest, his tone is a bit harsh, but his logic is hard to fault. Meanwhile, in the livestream chat, as the viewers debate, he decides to crank the education mode to the max to secure a higher system rating. "You're so young. Instead of studying hard, you're out late at night talking to strangers. Don't you know how to cherish yourself? Your parents worked so hard to raise you. Are you really doing right by them?" Which, naturally, is quite a heavy thing to say to a stranger. This lecture pushes the system evaluation up to S rank, but poor Bai Shueching is nearly driven to madness. "First of all, I'm an adult. Second, this is just normal socializing. Did you travel here from ancient times? It's the 21st century. How can someone with such old-fashioned ideas still exist?" His brow furrows instantly. "In a place as chaotic as this, have you never considered the consequences of being targeted? Or do you simply not care about any of that? I truly feel sorry for your parents. How could they raise such a careless child?" The moment he finishes speaking, the system notification rings out again. Congratulations to the host for successfully providing kind guidance. For guiding Bai Shueching, he receives an S-rank evaluation. The reward for the host is 100,000 yuan in cash, along with a limited edition top-tier supercar. At that very moment, inside his pocket, suddenly, a car key appears in his pocket. He suppresses his excitement, turning immediately toward the nearby parking lot to find his new vehicle. But as he walks away, Bai Shueching sticks to him like glue. She has finally remembered her mission, to film his genuine reactions, not to argue. Changing her tone, she tells him he was right, and that she hadn't realized those problems before. To be honest, she's a natural actress. She claims that after his reminder, she truly sees her mistakes, adding that he looked quite handsome while lecturing her. She even asks if he has a girlfriend and what he thinks of her. However, no matter how sweet her words become, he gives her no reaction at all. He keeps walking toward the parking lot because, at this moment, he has only one thought in mind. He couldn't care less about a beautiful woman. He only cares about his new car. We see him searching the mall's parking lot for the system's reward. Meanwhile, Bai Shueching follows him like a shadow. Finally, reaching his limit, he turns and questions her directly. He asks why she isn't home sleeping instead of following him in the middle of the night. Bai Shueching immediately puts on a pitiful act. She claims she ran away from home after a fight with her parents and has nowhere else to go. She says she has no money on her, and, sensing he is a good person, she makes a bold request. She asks if he can take her in for just one night. Hearing this, his pace finally begins to slow down. Seeing her chance, Bai Xueqing quickly trots to his side, following him cautiously as if she were a lost puppy. She begs him to let her stay, promising she'll just sleep on the sofa. Meanwhile, the livestream viewers are absolutely losing their minds. They comment on how talented she is at acting, noting that the prettier the girl, the better the performance. It's quite a show, really. They wonder if he can resist her charms. Just then, a hidden system mission is triggered for him. He must choose whether to take her in, a decision that will affect the entire plot. He pauses to think for a moment. Ultimately, he agrees, telling her that if she isn't lying, he will let her stay at his place for a single night. He makes it clear she must leave at dawn. Hearing this, Bai Xueqing's eyes flash with a hidden light. In her mind, he has walked right into her carefully prepared trap. The viewers, seeing this unfold, react as if they've been given a shot of adrenaline. The viewers think he's softened his heart, assuming there's no harm in letting her stay for just one night. They're eager to see what happens next. They tell each other that a great show is about to start tonight, urging everyone to follow the stream so they don't miss a single moment. We return to the parking lot where, after searching for quite some time, he finally finds his ride, a sleek supercar that looks like a professional racer. However, standing right next to this masterpiece is a man dressed in expensive designer clothes. Coincidentally, he also has a car key hanging from his waist. Seeing this, some of the viewers start to comment that this newcomer is what a truly successful person looks like. The tension in the chat begins to rise. A debate breaks out between those supporting the wealthy heir and those rooting for the self-made man. Meanwhile, he simply walks toward the stranger. He stops right in front of the wealthy man and calmly asks him to move aside. This single request causes the livestream chat to explode once again. The viewers are convinced he's just putting on an act to save face, amazed that he actually has the nerve to do it. But in the next second, the wealthy man's reaction catches everyone off guard. He politely agrees and steps back several paces, offering a sincere apology and inviting him forward. Watching from the side, Bai Xueqing can't take it anymore. She demands to know what he's doing and why he's making people move for no reason. He gives her a casual, indifferent look and explains that the man was simply blocking his way. At these words, not only is Bai Xueqing stunned, but the viewers are also completely speechless. They begin to wonder who this man really is as the plot takes an unexpected turn. We see him reach into his pocket and pull out his own car key. Bai Xueqing's eyes widen in an exaggerated display of shock. She never imagined that a random passerby chosen by the crew would have such immense wealth. The audience is equally stunned to see the lights flash. They truly didn't expect this limited edition supercar to actually belong to him. As the butterfly doors swing open, the chat turns into a frenzy of mockery toward those who claimed he was faking it. It's quite a reversal, really. Even the wealthy man standing nearby is surprised to find the car's true owner. He introduces himself as Shen Yifei and asks to exchange contact info. He introduces himself as Yi Yun. Shen Yifei mentions they have a car club full of brothers who share the same passion for high-end vehicles. He suggests they hang out sometime, and Yi Yun agrees, thinking it's a good chance to make friends. While he and Shen Yifei are talking, Bai Xueqing turns to the staff and whispers, asking if this supercar is actually worth a lot of money. To be honest, she has no idea. The staff member whispers that this is a global limited edition with a staggering price tag, and even with the money, you might not be able to buy one. After hearing this explanation, the viewers in the live stream are absolutely floored, while Yi Yun, completely unaware of the online chaos, just wants to go home. He asks her why she's still standing there and tells her to get in, but there's a small problem. Having had a few drinks, he can't drive. And so, he turns his gaze toward Bai Xueqing and asks her quite simply if she knows how to drive. She stammered out a reply, confirming that yes, she can indeed drive. Once he has her confirmation, he hands over the car keys. After saying goodbye to Shen Yifei, Bai Xueqing takes the wheel to drive him home. They head toward his residence, and before long, following the GPS, Bai Xueqing arrives at the destination. But when she gets out and sees the ordinary residential area, her expression shifts to one of pure surprise. To be honest, it wasn't what she expected. It's quite the contrast, driving a top-tier luxury supercar, but living in a completely average apartment building. He simply tells her they've arrived and to follow him. This discrepancy starts another heated debate among the viewers, who find it hard to believe a truly wealthy person would live in such a place. Some claim the supercar must be a rental, otherwise he wouldn't be living here. Meanwhile, Bai Xueqing is internally protesting, though she has no choice but to follow. To complete her mission, she enters with him. He walks to his door and opens it, revealing an interior that is surprisingly clean and tidy. Seeing such a minimalist and simple layout, Bai Xueqing's annoyance grows just a little bit more. At the same time, the production crew is taking precautions. They immediately arrange for staff to head to the neighborhood for her safety. After a quick wash, he tells her she can sleep on the sofa tonight. He adds that she can just leave first thing in the morning. Bai Xueqing is left momentarily speechless by this incredibly blunt, straight man behavior. She is stunned. She never imagined that someone as adored as her would receive such a cold shoulder. Naturally, she feels a bit slighted. Unwilling to accept this, she decides to test the waters one more time to see if she can get a different reaction. She tells him she's going to go freshen up and asks him not to mind, while the viewers instantly see through her forced smile. While the audience continues their endless speculation, Bai Xueqing gets up and heads off to the bathroom to wash up. However, when she emerges 30 minutes later in her loungewear, she finds that he is already in bed, fast asleep and snoring loudly. In an instant, Bai Xueqing's face turns a lovely shade of green, while the viewers in the live stream are practically dying of laughter. They cheer him on, telling him to keep up this energy. It seems he's a terminal case of being a straight man, and there's no cure in sight. It's truly hilarious to see Bai Xueqing prepare for so long only to be met with this result. We really have to feel for her efforts. What we thought would be a grand romantic drama has turned into a pure comedy. The next morning, Yian wakes up to a sound from the next room. It's the sound of snoring coming from Bai Xueqing, who is still fast asleep on the sofa. A moment later, he decides it's time for her to wake up. He tells her quite bluntly that it's time to get up. Since she's awake now, he suggests she pack her things so he can send her back. He doesn't show a hint of sentimentality. Having been woken up so abruptly, Bai Xueqing is understandably a bit annoyed by his lack of tact. Even so, she heads to the bathroom to quickly change. Once she's ready, he reminds her of their agreement from last night. He tells her that a person should keep their word. She said she'd leave at dawn, and dawn has arrived. And right at this moment, the camera feed is restored, and the audience begins to flood back into the live stream. Many of them find this turn of events quite refreshing. While the viewers debate heatedly, Bai Xueqing makes it clear she doesn't want to leave so early. He simply gives her two choices. Option 1, she goes back on her own. Option 2, he calls a car to take her back. To be honest, he isn't giving her much room to negotiate. Hearing this, Bai Xueqing is left speechless. Suddenly, the system's notification rings out, congratulating him for sticking to his principles. He has earned an SS rank evaluation, rewarded with the title deed to a new property and 100,000 yuan in cash. When he sees the bank notification on his phone, he can't help but feel a surge of excitement, even though he was somewhat prepared for it. He turns his gaze back to Bai Xueqing and tells her to take her pick. Just like that, she is ruthlessly ushered out the door. At this point, the program's host Jung, appears on the screen to announce that the accumulated prize money has reached 100,000 yuan. As long as he continues to uphold his principles, he can earn even higher positive energy rewards. Although Bai Xueqing has been eliminated, the show will send out a different type of guest for the second round to continue observing whether he can stay true to his path. Hearing host Jing's announcement, the live stream audience is absolutely buzzing with excitement, eagerly anticipating the arrival of the new guest. Meanwhile, back in the room, Ian is busy playing games when he receives a phone call from his landlady, Annie Wang. He tells her he wants to renew the lease and asks her to send her niece over tomorrow, as he has the rent money ready. Even though he is wealthy now, he has grown used to this house over the last 3 years and isn't in a hurry to move. Auntie Wang mentions that her niece is about his age, and if she remembers correctly, he is still single. She thinks he's a good kid and suggests they get to know each other, telling him not to be so quick to refuse. She's just building a bridge. Whether they connect is up to them. The next morning, a sudden knock sounds at the door. The sharp sound echoes through the quiet apartment, signaling the arrival of a new visitor. He opens the door to find an incredibly beautiful, sophisticated woman standing there, while he looks like he just woke up. She introduces herself as Lu Wanqing, the landlady's niece, and explains she's there to collect next month's rent of 1,000 yuan. She asks if he prefers WeChat or Alipay. He just squints and yawns, but Lu Wanqing's expression shifts slightly at his mention of Alipay. It turns out she is the second guest arranged by the program. To observe his reactions, the crew gave her a specific identity. They cast her as the landlady's niece to get close to him. Despite being thrown off by his dull reaction, she suggests adding his WeChat. She claims it will make future transfers more convenient. To our surprise, he simply agrees with a casual sure. And just like that, the first hurdle of the encounter is cleared with almost no effort at all. To thank him for cooperating, she offers to buy him breakfast. He accepts, saying he'll take her up on the offer. He isn't thinking much of it, just being polite, but the live stream audience sees this as the beginning of her falling for him. They joke that as soon as he mentioned breakfast, she was all in. Men, always so easily misunderstood by the crowd. Lu Wanqing takes him to a breakfast shop and thoughtfully pays first. They begin to chat while they eat. She learns that he needs to visit a real estate agency later. Coincidentally, the show has given her a wealthy persona with local properties. She mentions she also needs to handle some paperwork at the agency, suggesting that they could head over there together. She explains that she has several properties nearby that need managing, so she finds herself visiting the agency quite often. It seems quite a coincidence, doesn't it? And this little revelation immediately causes the live stream audience to explode with excitement. The viewers are convinced this girl is something special, and they expect Yin to be impressed by Lu Wanqing's impressive background. But in the very next second, he simply offers a lukewarm response, noting that her family situation seems quite good. Lu Wanqing is genuinely surprised. Usually, when she plays the wealthy card, people become much more enthusiastic toward her. His flat reaction leaves her feeling a bit thrown off. Regardless, after finishing breakfast, the two of them arrive at the Chongqing agency. As soon as they step through the door, a salesperson greets them warmly, asking if they are there for business. Lu Wanqing introduces herself and explains she's there to handle some paperwork, having already contacted manager Zhong in advance. The salesperson asks them to wait a moment as the manager is on his way, leading them both into a private VIP reception room. Once the salesperson leaves, only Yi Yun and Lu Wanqing remain. Unable to contain herself any longer, she decides to take the initiative. She asks him directly what he thinks of her as a person. His response, a simple, "You're all right." She then confesses that when her aunt suggested introducing them last night, she had actually refused at first. However, she claims that from the moment she saw him, her impression of him was actually quite positive. Just as he is about to politely decline her advances, his system suddenly activates, detecting an unhealthy social trend in the air. A mission is triggered, offering him a choice that includes a 20% stake in the prestigious Kalai Grand Hotel. Hearing the system's prompt, he freezes in place, though to the livestream audience, this look of shock is interpreted quite differently. The viewers are convinced it's all over, certain that he won't be able to resist her charms now. But while everyone is busy speculating, his next words leave the entire audience in complete disbelief. He looks Lu Wanqing straight in the eye and calmly tells her that it's better if they just remain ordinary friends. He adds that he simply doesn't have those kinds of feelings for her, leaving the self-proclaimed goddess utterly stunned. She can hardly believe she's been rejected, but a second later, her furrowed brow relaxes as she assumes this is just a clever little game of hard to get. With that thought in mind, Lu Wanqing gives a charming smile and tells him that she truly likes him, and if they were to be together, she could even have her father provide some significant help with his career. He simply replies that he's sorry, but he truly feels nothing for her. Hearing this, Lu Wanqing's expression turns a grim shade of ashen. She asks him sharply if he truly has no interest in her at all, or if he perhaps thinks she is lying to him. He calmly notes that whether she is lying or not makes no difference to him whatsoever. To him, a lack of interest is just that. As he gazes at Lu Wanqing with total composure, the system's notification chime rings out immediately. The system confirms that because the host rejected Lu Wanqing's kindness, he is being rewarded with a 25% stake in the Juklai Grand Hotel. While he is quietly celebrating this new windfall, Lu Wanqing is becoming absolutely livid. To be honest, she only joined this show to become famous. But after this rejection, she isn't just failing to find fame, she's making a complete fool of herself. As she imagines her goddess image crumbling, her anger boils over. She snaps, asking who he thinks he is to reject her, pointing out that he is nothing more than a lowly delivery man. She demands to know what right he has to turn her down. He responds that while he may be a delivery man, it doesn't make him inferior to anyone. He reminds her calmly that no profession is inherently better than another, but a fuming Lu Wanqing just points a finger at his face and scoffs. She laughs mockingly, telling him that if he actually knew how to make money, he wouldn't be living in such a cheap, tiny rental apartment. Right in the middle of their heated argument, the sales manager, Pan Jiqing, happens to walk in. But the moment he hears the name, his eyes change. He asks if he is indeed the Mr. Yi who came to handle the paperwork today. This sudden interruption completely halts the bickering between the two. Once he receives a nod of confirmation, Pan Jiqing beams and shakes his hand enthusiastically, exclaiming, "Boss Yi, it really is you." He tells him he's been waiting. At these words, not only is Lu Wanqing stunned, but the entire livestream audience is left completely speechless. The viewers wonder why a sales manager would call him Boss Yi. Did he actually buy a house here? It seems impossible for a delivery man. Where would he get that kind of money? Meanwhile, Lu Wanqing finally finds her voice and asks Pan Jiqing in utter shock why he's calling him that. Pan Jiqing smiles and explains that Boss Yi purchased multiple properties from them yesterday, and he had messaged him to come finish the contracts. Pan Jiqing adds that as their biggest client, it's only natural to call him Boss Yi. Meanwhile, the livestream audience is absolutely losing it. The news that he bought multiple properties has the chat exploding. They wonder where a delivery man could possibly get that kind of money. Just moments ago, Lu Wanqing was mocking him for being poor, but it turns out he has real power. This is a massive slap to her face. The viewers find it hilarious. Lu Wanqing was acting so superior, only to realize she has accidentally kicked a steel plate. We see our protagonist has successfully cleared the second stage, bringing his total prize money to 300,000 yuan. Even though Lu Wanqing has been eliminated, our show is just beginning. In the third stage, we will see if he can continue to hold to his principles. After hearing this, the livestream audience is buzzing with excitement. Some claim they knew he'd resist temptation. With 300,000 in the bag, the next prize will surely be 500,000. The second guest really didn't stand a chance. It felt like her challenge ended before it even began. While some viewers are starting to admire him, most remain skeptical. They argue he's just a stubborn guy who got lucky with Lu Wanqing. There are still over 20 stages left, after all, and each one is harder than the last. As the audience debates his chances, Yi returns to his neighborhood and receives a call. The voice asks if he is Mr. Yi, the shareholder of the Juklai Grand Hotel. They wish to invite him to the shareholders meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Only then does he remember that the system rewarded him with a 25% stake in that very hotel. He agrees without hesitation. What he doesn't realize is that the show's camera crew recorded the entire conversation. They know he's attending an event, but not his true status. On the other side, the show's executive, Sue Rowland, receives this update from her staff. She immediately begins to plan the identity of the third guest. At the appointed time, Yi drives himself to the 5-star Juklai Grand Hotel. Waiting at the entrance is Lee Mingyao. Her eyes light up the moment she sees him, and she approaches him with a smile. She politely asks if he is there to attend the meeting. She looks at him with a puzzled expression and asks why he isn't following her inside. Yi Yun simply replies that he wants to introduce his identity to the others, but Lee Mingyao is visibly shocked by this. She asks why he would even need an introduction. In her eyes, he is just a second-generation rich kid with a bit of money, someone who can't possibly compare to the prestigious guests inside. At this, Yi Yun's expression becomes even calmer. He asks if she truly doesn't know who he is, but she just gives him a casual, dismissive look and says she does. She says he's just Yi Yun. Seeing her act so dismissive of him is almost comical, to be honest. She insists he is merely a wealthy heir and questions why she should bother introducing him to such important figures. At this point, even the audience thinks he might fail this stage, but as the chat debates his chances, their conversation is overheard by Yin Shoxing, the general manager of the Juklai Grand Hotel, who happens to be walking by. The moment he hears the name, he freezes in his tracks. However, before he can react, Lee Mingyao continues her cold and arrogant lecture. She tells Yi Yun that he is just an ordinary person with a little money. She warns him that this isn't a place where he can just speak his mind and tells him to stay humble. Hearing this, the irritation in Yi Yun's heart can no longer be suppressed. But right then, the system suddenly activates, detecting a toxic atmosphere and triggering a new mission. If the host properly reveals his identity and corrects her behavior, the system will grant a reward based on the final rating. And so, Yi Yun calmly and firmly tells Lee Mingyao that he is the hotel's second-largest shareholder. He explains that the hotel invited him here personally. He asks how she can be a deputy manager and not know this, telling her she's the one who should be careful. Hearing this, Lee Mingyao isn't convinced at all. She even lets out a cold laugh. The second-largest shareholder? She mocks him, saying that if he's the second-largest shareholder, then she must be the first. She warns him that while he can eat whatever he wants, he certainly shouldn't say whatever he wants. Meanwhile, Yin Shoxing, who has been eavesdropping, looks increasingly worried. A second later, he jumps out and shouts for her to shut up, asking if she has any idea who she's talking to. But Lee Mingyao mistakenly thinks those words are directed at Yi Yun. She joins in the scolding, asking him if he heard that and if he knows who he's talking to, since the man is from Juklai. She sneers, telling him that she is the deputy general manager while he is just an ordinary person, and that without her help, he wouldn't even have the status to attend today's meeting. Meanwhile, as Yin Shoxing listens to this arrogant display, beads of sweat begin to pour down his face. He walks straight up to Lee Mingyao, points at her, and asks if she has any idea who she's talking to. He reveals that Yi Yun is actually the second-largest shareholder of Juklai. Hearing this, Lee Mingyao looks as if she's been struck by lightning. As she stands there frozen, Yi Yun calmly adds that he truly doesn't understand how she could be so clueless about his identity. He notes that as a deputy manager, she should focus on her work instead of showing off in front of others, which is hardly appropriate. At this moment, the livestream audience is collectively stunned. What is happening? He's actually the second-largest shareholder of the hotel? Not only does he own multiple properties, but he holds a massive stake in the hotel too. We have to wonder just how many identities this man is hiding. Feeling as though he's been toyed with all day, Yi Yun continues, reminding Lee Mingyao that he gave her his name from the very start. He tells her that not knowing the hotel shareholders is a dereliction of duty, and her arrogant attitude toward colleagues and guests is even worse. Turning his gaze to Yin Shoxing, he asks the general manager if he can use his status as a shareholder to suggest a re-evaluation of her position. Yin Shoxing nods frantically, agreeing immediately. Yi Yun then turns back to Lee Mingyao and tells her that due to her misconduct and the negative impact of her words, he suggests she head over to the Human Resources Department to undergo some much-needed retraining. Lee Mingyao's face turns deathly pale. She clearly never expected the tables to turn like this. And right at that moment, the system's voice chimes in, congratulating him on defending his rights and correcting her behavior. He receives an S-rank rating and a reward. He is granted a 100,000 yuan bonus and a 25% stake in Scable. Naturally, he pulls out his phone to search for information on this company. It turns out to be a high-end custom suit brand with a very impressive annual income. This means he'll receive a massive dividend at the end of the year without lifting a finger. And so, Yin Shoxing leads him into the hotel, leaving behind a bewildered Lee Mingyao and a shocked livestream audience. Since the third guest's mission has failed, the production team meets and decides to send in a new guest. Once the choice is made, the livestream cuts back to the host, who begins by offering congratulations. Our protagonist has successfully passed the test of the third guest, and we see that his accumulated bonus has now reached 500,000 yuan. After some deliberation, the program team decides that for the fourth guest, they will send a woman of great elegance to observe him more deeply. If he can continue to stick to his principles this time, he will receive a reward of 1 million yuan. As the host finishes this introduction, a wave of intense anticipation surges through the livestream audience. They note that this fourth guest certainly looks like she possesses incredible class. The viewers wonder if the young man can hold his ground. To be honest, most of them admit they wouldn't be able to resist her charm themselves. They remind him that he is representing their collective image now, so he better work hard and not let anyone look down on him. Meanwhile, a portion of the audience is actually quite pleased. His success with the first 3 guests had left them feeling rather indignant and skeptical. They are eagerly waiting for this new guest to finally take him down. However, as the star of this show, Yi-Yun is completely unaware of any of this. After finishing the hotel shareholders meeting, he drives toward the Jindy building, planning to buy himself a few sets of decent clothes. But as he sets off, the program's camera crew is already tailing him. On the other side, the 4th guest, Shun Qingxue, is about to make her grand entrance. Once the team learns of his location, they quickly arrange for her to head to the Jindy building. As the livestream switches its focus to Shun Qingxue, the audience is absolutely stunned. Goodness, this Shun Qingxue appears both beautiful and incredibly refined. Can our hero really withstand this? The viewers ask if this is the legendary, elegant woman they were promised. She seems so noble that they doubt anyone could stay composed around her. While the audience debates, Shun Qingxue discusses with the crew how to interact with him naturally. She believes that no matter how much money one has, without basic respect and sincerity, it is all for nothing. She intends to let the netizens witness his truest side today. These words immediately earn her the approval of many viewers. They agree completely, finding her perspective to be exactly to their liking. They look forward to their interaction, hoping to see if this guy really is as principled as he seems. While the comments continue to fly, we see Yi-Yun passing one large clothing store after another on the upper floors of the Jindy building, finally stopping in front of a Scable shop. However, those resentful viewers see this and immediately begin their mockery. They wonder why on earth he would choose to visit this particular store. They claim they've never even heard of Scable, assuming it's just some obscure, ordinary brand, which, as we know, tells you everything about their expertise. While some mock the brand, there are plenty of knowledgeable viewers in the live stream who immediately step up to set the record straight. They are shocked that anyone would call Scable an obscure brand, as it is actually one of the most prestigious luxury tailor shops in the world. Indeed, this shop serves royalty and counts many international film stars among its loyal clientele. Upon hearing this expert breakdown from the more informed viewers, the rest of the audience finally understands the true weight of this brand. They realize that one probably shouldn't even step inside without a few $100,000 in their pocket. As the viewers continue their debate, we see Yi-Yun begin speaking with the shop staff. After a brief exchange, the clerk immediately goes to fetch the store manager, Chen Jinghua. The manager introduces himself politely, but as he gets a clear look at our protagonist's face, his expression shifts instantly. He had just received notice of a change in Scable's shareholders, and he recognizes Yi-Yun immediately from the new owner's photo. He hurriedly asks if he is indeed Mr. Yi-Yun. Hearing this, Yi-Yun is slightly surprised that their information network is so efficient. He smiles calmly and tells the manager there is no need to be nervous. He simply came by today to have 2 custom suits made for himself. Hearing those words, Chen Jinghua breathes a sigh of relief. He immediately arranges for the shop's finest tailor to take his measurements for the custom order. However, while Yi-Yun chats with Chen Jinghua, their conversation is being captured by the program crew's hidden equipment nearby. When the audience hears that a single suit starts at several $100,000 the chat erupts in an uproar. To them, such a price seems almost otherworldly. They can hardly believe how expensive it is, wondering if this is truly what the life of the ultra-wealthy looks like. It's quite a shock, really. One viewer notes that wearing such a suit is essentially like walking around with the value of a house on one's back. Those who were mocking him earlier are now silent. They thought a designer bag worth $100,000 was the peak of luxury, never imagining a custom suit could cost hundreds of thousands or even millions. It is a level of wealth that completely exceeds their imagination. While he is ordering his suits, Shun Qingxue arrives at the Jindy building's underground parking lot. We see her dressed head to toe in elegant designer clothes, carrying an exquisite bag to create the perfect accidental encounter. She has borrowed a luxury car from the crew and parked it right next to his supercar. As Ian finishes shopping and prepares to leave, the program staff immediately relay the message to Shun Qingxue. Upon receiving the signal, she moves quickly through the parking lot until she spots him. Seeing her target appear just a short distance ahead, a confident smile begins to play on Shun Qingxue's lips. And so, the stage is set.